Hey guys, welcome to Let's Click Photography. My name is Dave, and this week we are in the always beautiful Padley Gorge in the Peak District National Park. But I'm not really going to be talking too much about the location today, although of course we're going to take a few shots. What I want to talk to you about is a new camera acquisition that I've got about a month ago now, which is this one, the Canon EOS R. Now the Canon EOS R is by no stretch of the imagination a new camera. It was launched back end of 2018, but a lot's changed in that time. Namely, the Canon R5 and the Canon R6 were launched. As regular viewers of the channel will know, I have done lots on the Canon R5. I own a Canon R6 and I do lots of RF glass reviews. Well, I've been hoping that at some point a little bit of light would hit this millstone behind me. But it's not going to happen, so I'm just going to take a shot and let's move on. Recently, the wedding business in the UK has really started to open up again, and a few of my delayed weddings from during lockdowns have come about. There's no doubt in my mind that the Canon R6 was now my main camera for weddings, which meant that the Canon 5D Mark IV had been demoted to backup camera, and there was a problem with that. If I wanted to take the 5D Mark IV as a second body, and I wanted to use RF glass on my main body, it meant taking a second lot of lenses, being the EF mount that I could use on the 5D Mark IV. And having the Canon 5D Mark IV as a second camera started to make no sense whatsoever. And so if the 5D Mark IV couldn't work as a second wedding photography camera, I had a choice to make really. There are certain things about the Canon 5D Mark IV which was going to have to make way that I wanted to keep hold of. Now, internally, the Canon EOS R is basically a Canon 5D Mark IV. The sensor is the same, the dynamic range is the same. In terms of doing things like landscape photography, which I use the Canon 5D Mark IV quite a lot for, it's going to function exactly the same. It's going to give me the same results. In terms of product photography, it's going to function the same. It's going to give me the same results. In terms of image quality, I'm never concerned. It's going to give me the same results as the Canon 5D Mark IV. And the image quality from the 5D Mark IV is superb. Because it was a second body, I wasn't too worried about the one card slot. However, what did worry me was some of the ergonomics of this camera. The Canon EOS R does not bear well when it comes to reviews of the ergonomics of the camera. Lack of a joystick, lack of the circular dial that I'm so used to on every Canon camera that I've ever used. I hate to say it, but I don't get why Canon made this camera the way they made it. It ergonomically is left wanting. Take this off a tripod, do anything that isn't still life with this. Have to put this camera up to your eye, and it's horrid to use. I'm really not enjoying it. To decide that you're going to move a dial from here, completely remove it. Just why? I don't get it. The top of the camera looks a lot like the Canon R5 and feels a lot like the Canon R5, but to have the dial here that on the R6 and the R5 would control ISO, having that third dial, that now controls aperture. This touch dial thing is a joke. You put this up to your eye and go to the vertical, and even if you've got it locked, so I moved this to have it locked, and anytime I went to the vertical position like this, my eye bone would press against it, my eyebrow bone, what do you call that, would press against it and unlock it, and all of a sudden I'm trying to change my shutter speed and it's now changing the function. Now I'm here doing landscape photography, shooting with it handheld through the viewfinder isn't that bad, and that's because you've got time And I'm sure if this was your only camera, it'd work quite well for you. I am being very harsh because I'm comparing it to the Canon R6, well, and the Canon R5, but this is so different. It doesn't feel natural at all. The AF button, which is right around here on every other full frame Canon camera, is over here on this. And I know that doesn't seem like much. It doesn't seem like it moves much, but when your thumb is so used to going here, and all of a sudden you have to get used to it going here in this very strange feeling place. Everything is different. The Q button, which accesses your quick menu on Canon cameras, it's on the set button. On every other Canon camera, it's around here. Your focus point selector, everything is different. Now, I suppose there might be some people who watch the channel a lot who can say to me, hey Dave, you didn't like the Canon R6 either when you first got it. And that's very true. I did a first impressions video where I certainly didn't not like it. I just wasn't sold on it. So go and watch that right here, because maybe in 6 months' time, I'll be saying that this Canon EOS R is my favorite camera of all time. That's definitely what happened with the Canon R6. Head over there, give that a watch. I've been Dave. This has been Let's Click Photography. And from me, for now, ciao.